I want to work hard. I have to work hard to have the life that I want to have. And no one else is going to do it for me. She was refused a library card. She couldn't go and get books.
Wow.
She wanted to study. She wanted to be a judge. That was her whole... But like my mom, she's like a 5 foot, like tiny little lady, but super fiery. You are a product of the people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
But I think a lot of the roots, of who I am is... So I'm born in London, raised in Buckinghamshire in the south of England. I was showing around these homes for rent, but I didn't know where I was sleeping that night. It's all about working hard.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Punjabi Sharks. Today we have a special guest. She's a real estate tycoon, entrepreneur, and main cast member and star of Million Dollar Listing Dubai. Welcome, Zay. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a hectic day.
So hectic.
I know.
Like I said, I have to rethink podcasts on weekdays.
Yeah, especially in the evenings now with traffic being heavy.
Yeah,
So,
it's insane how Dubai has like gone from, I don't know how long you've been here in Dubai.
it's about 5 years now.
5 years. So
the
before, like
change.
during COVID, after COVID, and then suddenly you have like an influx of people. Now you can't get anywhere in less than an hour.
Yeah, it takes me an hour to get from DIFC to Arabian Ranches,
Oh, wow.
which is where I was having my viewings today. And
Okay.
yeah, that was crazy. I feel like there's never a good slot, because there's always school runs, then there's the rush hour to work in the mornings and the evenings.
Yeah.
And I feel like the school runs are staggered all throughout the afternoon. Like
Right.
I see a school bus from 12 p.m. all the way through to like 4 p.m. It's just 4 hours of just
Yeah.
school run. It's
That's
crazy.
insane. Yeah. Or people are scheduling their meetings between.
Yeah.
Everybody's
literally.
just scheduling their
We're
meetings
all
in
trying
between.
to arrange it around it, but yeah.
But then it doesn't matter what time you go.
Basically, stay at home.
Stay at home. Remote work is the way to
Remote work
go.
is the way forward.
But not for us, I guess, in the real estate industry. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
No, I can't really Zoom call you showing you the property. I mean, that would be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's insane doing a podcast on a weekday, so I'll have to rethink that. But in any case, thank you so much for coming. Of
course.
On short notice too.
I know.
We talked last week, and now you're here.
Here I am.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I always make time. So
Great.
I'm always, always up for anything, really. So I'll
Thank you.
say yes to anything.
Thank you, much appreciated. So Zay, I've seen you on Million Dollar Listing, and I've seen your social media, how active you are. I've gone through a few things, but the audience, our audience especially, they may not know you. They may not know where you're from, where you came from, how you ended up in Dubai. So I want to go through all of that with you, if you don't
I'm
mind.
excited. Yeah, let's do it.
So Zay, where are you from?
So I'm born in London, raised in Buckinghamshire in the south of England. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And what about your parents? Were they from the UK, or did they immigrate, or what was the story behind that?
Yeah, so it's a funny one because everyone always asks this question, like, what's your heritage? And I'd love to say it's just an easy answer, but it's such a mix.
Really?
So my dad, he's English and Irish.
Okay.
So he's white, ginger,
Oh.
looks nothing like me. He's 6'2", so complete opposite. And my mother, she's born in Uganda, East Africa.
Okay.
And her heritage is descended all the way from, is Asian East African. So
Okay.
Bangladeshi and Iranian in there as well. So
Wow.
it's a whole mix. So
Wow.
it's basically a cocktail. Yeah. And then I get all sorts. People think I'm from everywhere,
Right.
So,
It's like the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
You just mix some of this, you mix some of
Yeah,
that,
literally.
and then bang, out comes Zay.
Here I am.
Great. Well, I mean, that's insane. I didn't know that. That's something new.
It's a whole mix.
Growing up you grew up there your whole life? You were there your entire life?
Yeah,
You grew up there, and how was your childhood? Like, what do you remember from your childhood? Some moments.
So home growing up, it was obviously you're in a mixed household. So you had like my dad's side of the family, all like English, and food's different, the gatherings are different, the people are different, the culture is different, and I think this speaks to anybody who has been raised in a, diverse, home. I think you do get to see all sides. So I think that was really cool. I mean, I'm from a big family, so I've got 2 brothers and an older sister. So I'm the youngest.
Oh, wow.
So it was always a busy household. It's always been like lots of love, but also I wouldn't say like we don't show our love in like affection. It's like we're very tough love family. So
give me an example. What do you mean?
So we'd never cuddle and we'd never like hold each other. We'd never say like, I love you. We'd never say these things. It's really weird. But it's like, I know that if I called my dad at 2 a.m. saying, I need, can you come get me? He would be the first one there. So we're very reliable on one another. And I think we all show up for each other. And I think that's our way of like showing love, But like my mom, she's like a 5 foot, like tiny little lady, but super fiery. So I think just growing up in a household with a strong woman is kind of why I am the way I am today, So yeah.
Amazing. So that's shaped who you are today.
Absolutely.
And I think, of course, upbringing is one of the most important things, right? Shaping an individual and giving them their values and principles of life. So I guess you've learned all the right ones.
Well,
that's why you're here.
No one's perfect.
No
but,
one's perfect, yeah.
I'd say a massive contribution to like who I am and my work ethic and my outlook on life is to do with my mother. I mean, we're very much inseparable. But, she came over from Uganda in the late 60s because in those times, Idi Amin took over and he threw everybody out.
Yes.
So that's when she went to the UK with her family, and she was only 18 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
And, in those days, it was still a lot of racism in those times. She endured a lot of that. She was refused a library card. She couldn't go and get books.
Wow.
She wanted to study. She wanted to be a judge. That was her whole life.
Right.
And then all of that changed because they had to start from nothing. They literally came with just the clothes on their backs and that's it. So they had to juggle working all day and then studying in the evenings at night school. Just to get qualification. And she ended up being a chartered accountant. So she had a great life.
Amazing.
But, she suffered a lot. And I think she was very resilient. She endured so much and persevered. And when you're raised by a woman like that, who's had it all, lost it all, and then rebuilt from the ground up, that really shapes you as a person and makes you think, like I want to work hard. I have to work hard to have the life that I want to have. And no one else is going to do it for me. That's the mindset that no one has got your best interest like you do, right? Yeah. And it doesn't matter whether it's your partner or your parents or your friends, like no one's got you like you've got you, You've got to put yourself first and you've got to stand on your own 2 feet. And I think independence is a huge factor in all of that. So yeah.
Amazing. I mean, she's been a great influence on you then.
Yeah, huge role model.
The biggest, I guess.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I lost my mum when I was 18.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That was tough. But, everyone has something. Everyone's gone through something. And I know that she'd be really proud.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's definitely a whirlwind.
Very good. Very good, Zay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough one, losing somebody so early, right when you're about to, jump ship and, start your own life.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that really kicked you in the butt somehow.
Massively.
And gave you maybe she's still with you today. And she is probably, she's watching over you.
Yeah.
Right?
I like to think of it in a really weird way. But
okay. What is that?
It's very much like when you lose someone who you're very close with. So for me, it was my mother. I personally believe that a piece of her is me. Like that's who I am today, is a part of her. So it's almost like she continues to live on through me. And when I have children one day, that will pass on to them.
For sure.
So I think, I always say I'm a strong believer and you are a product of the people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
But I think a lot of the roots, of who I am is to do with her. So
yeah, because who you spend time with, how is that going to happen if, you're not, your base, it's like your foundation, your base, it has to be right. Otherwise, you won't spend time with the right people.
Right.
And then it all starts from there.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's all about influence.
It's all about influence.
You can put a really negative person and pick them up and plant them in a circle of positive people. And that person will no doubt become positive.
Yes.
It's really about your environment, and I'm a strong believer on being selective of that. And I think everyone is guilty, not guilty, it's not a bad thing, but everyone, when you first move out to Dubai, you get sort of sucked in on fear of loneliness. So everyone just, latches on to everyone. Everybody's your friend. You've got the biggest circles, so many friends, and you go out with them and you're brunching all the time. But then you really, over the years, you sort of refine that circle. Again, it's smaller and smaller and smaller. So now I have 2 friends, but do you know what I mean? You really figure out who's really your friend and who's actually are you waking up and having meaningful conversations? Are you guys aligned? Do you both all have goals, And I think it's important to elevate your friends. And I'm always about wanting other people to win as well.
For sure, yes.
So I talk about it all the time, but it's all about a power circle. And I want to be around and surrounded by hungry, like-minded people because I feed off that energy and then I charge that up just the same way, you know?
I'm of the same belief.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find people like that, by the way. I'm sure you know.
It is. It's tough.
I gave up, I think. I found my fiance. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep her.
I'll keep her.
That's it. Just keep tight. Hold her tight.
Yeah. Make sure she doesn't leave the house.
No, she has to leave the house. That's the thing. She gets her motivation from there. I've learned a lot from her as well, and I think likewise. So we feed off each other's energy, and it's always great. Even on the way here, I was having a really hectic day, tough day, and she could tell, just by talking to me. And she said, "Don't worry, everything's going to be fine. You're going to make it through. We're going to be at this level in the next year," So that's always
great.
helps. So that's what you mean by power circle.
Yeah.
You have to motivate each other. You have to feed off of each other's energy, and then grow together.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
So it doesn't get as closer than a partner, life partner.
Right. And that's why choosing your partner is so important,
Definitely.
I mean, Dylan is an absolute rock, and I think that very selective with who I've dated, and I was single for 4 years before him. So I think that speaks volumes.
Okay.
And I genuinely thought, oh my God, dating in Dubai is crazy because there's just no one that I really see myself with.
Yeah.
And then along comes Dylan, and he's just so hungry, so ambitious, so driven. And, in the early on in our relationship, I would say in the first week, we had viewings, and I remember standing in this apartment and we looked over at the whole skyline and he was like, "We're going to take over the city." And I was just like, you know what? This is the partner I've been waiting for,
Very good.
So
happy for you.
yeah, thank you.
Even though we don't know each other,
I know.
I can feel the commonalities a little bit now.
There's
right?
so many. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So take us back to when you were 18 years old. You finished. Of course, your mom passed away, and that's a huge. I guess you had to take a pause on life a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long that pause was, but what did you do after that when you got not over it, but let's say you passed that moment. What did you do after that?
So I decided to go traveling. I did that whole typical Buckinghamshire girl thing where I went Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia, whereabouts?
So I started off in China.
Amazing.
So I started all the way up in the north and worked my way down to the south. So
which city in the north? Do you remember?
Yeah. So I started in Beijing.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be very modern.
Yeah.
And it's really not. Tiananmen Square, all of those places are amazing, beautiful places. But it was a bit of a culture shock the second I got there. And what I didn't realize is there's a lot of people who still haven't seen brown people before in pockets of China.
Yeah.
That when they did see me, they started taking photos and touching my hair and my skin, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy." But no, it's beautiful. I did the whole Great Wall of China. That was incredible, and then I went down to Xi'an, and then Guangzhou, and then all the way down to Hong Kong. So I did that.
Good.
And then I went over to Thailand. I did that. I conquered a lot of fears I had as well. So
like what?
So
food fears?
That too. I did.
Because that's the main thing in Southeast Asia. You're like, can I eat that? Is that eatable? What do I do?
I know.
Every time. I lived in China, by the way.
No way.
For 6 years.
Oh my goodness.
I went to university there.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
In the north. So Beijing is is in the north, but there's more north than that.
Yeah.
It's a city. I lived in a city called Shenyang.
Wow.
And I went to medical school.
My goodness, 6 years. Do you speak Mandarin?
I used to, but I mean, I
That's a great
see
skill.
the thing is, I think when you learn a language, right, you can learn how to, you'll forget how to speak it, but
Right.
you'll still understand. Like I still understand when people are around me. I
Yes.
use that to my advantage sometimes.
I was going to say, because that's like, people would never expect it, especially from people that look like us. They would never expect that.
It's how I've closed a deal using that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
it was
skill
insane.
set. Yeah. That's awesome.
Going back to your fears.
Yeah.
So what fears did you conquer?
So I can't swim.
Okay. Still or?
No, I still can't swim.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can doggy paddle, but I'm really not a swimmer at all. Just to fit the stereotype of. So here I am.
No, I think that's the wrong one. I think it's.
Is it not?
No.
Okay, I thought it was.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
But basically, I can't swim, and
There's another race.
right. Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
So,
But anyways, yeah.
but I decided to overcome my fear of open water and just not being able to swim. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go scuba diving, and I'm just gonna do it, you know. And I
Okay.
got my paddy out in Thailand in Koh Tao, and it's quite crazy because I don't think my fear is really so. What I learned was it wasn't so much the water. It's problem with me that I have with swimming is I don't feel like there's enough time to breathe in between the strokes. Whereas with diving, you have a regulator and you can
Yeah.
breathe all the time. So I loved scuba diving. I have this newfound hobby and it was amazing.
Do you do it here?
Yeah. I've
Oh, you do
actually
here?
I've done it in Dubai Mall as well, in the actual aquarium. So you can scuba dive in that.
Yeah.
And I did that with all the sharks and all the rays, and they literally like come right up your face.
Wow.
So it's such a surreal experience.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you just got you can see the people, you know, looking into the tank, and you're just in there like. It's such a surreal experience. You've got all these fish and then you've got people. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Definitely
Amazing.
recommend it. Yeah.
I will try that. I haven't scuba dived yet.
Well, it's cool.
I know how to swim though.
Yeah.
So brown people can swim. I had to learn when I was 7 years
No
old.
way.
Yeah, my mom took me. She's like, you have to
Wow.
learn how to swim for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
I need to learn. Like I need. It's a crazy thing that I don't know it at my big age. But
It's okay.
We'll get there.
I think you'll get there. So you went on a trip
Yeah.
to Southeast Asia,
Went traveling.
China, then Thailand.
yeah,
What did you do anything after that, or that was
yeah.
it?
No, I did Vietnam and Cambodia.
Wow. So the whole thing.
Yeah, I
Whole shebang.
Yeah, literally did not waste time. You know what it was? I think that really taught me. You know, losing my mom in that moment and that year, I was like, life is so short, and I really want to see the world. You know, so I just grab life with both hands now, like grab it by the horns, because you can't. Like, no one knows your expiry date, and that sounds so morbid, but I mean that in the way of each day, whether it's a tough day or a harder day, it's a day. You know, and I think it's only when you lose someone or when you have a health risk, health scare, that you really begin to appreciate life. And I think it's almost a blessing in disguise that it happened to me so young,
Yeah.
because I look at life in such a different light now, you know. So I obviously did that, and then I went to university in Southampton for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you study?
Politics and IR.
Okay. What made you choose that?
I think I'm just naturally an argumentative person. But no, I love politics. I loved it. And I did A-level politics, and I really loved that. But yeah, university. I mean, I look back at university, and if I'm being totally honest, I probably did like 20% of my time was actually for my degree.
Of course.
And then 80% was partying, having fun, but mostly societies. Like I was part of like 4 or 5 different societies.
I think that's what college is for.
Right.
It's not, well, truth be told, like you can study a week before the exams and
I did.
still do well, right? That's how I did it.
If you ask anyone that knows me that went to uni with me, they will all tell you that Zay Brown would walk in at 6 p.m. on the night that the coursework was due. She would bash it out in 3-4 hours, submit at literally midnight on the dot. Right to the final second, I would submit it. Like every time. Not just like, oh, on occasion. Every single coursework, every single paper was like my dissertation was done in 5 days. And I got a first in my dissertation.
Wow.
So like my belief is that if I could do all of that, I graduated overall with a 2-1. And it's not to brag. It's more like I really experienced university. And I think that if I didn't have that part-time job as well as doing 4 or 5 different societies, cheer captain and an entrepreneur like society, an actress. If I didn't do all of those things, I wouldn't have the skills I have today, like my speaking skills and teamwork skills and just thinking for yourself and problem solving, because these are the skills that really set you apart. It's not really like, can you bash out an essay? Now we've got ChatGPT, so all of that's for nothing, you know? It's really about, I think one of the biggest and most important skills in any field is speaking skills, you know, people skills. It's really that, I think, is your truest superpower.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I'm grateful. I mean, look, if I just went to university just for my degree, of course I could have got a first class. But my viewpoint is I took so much more away from it. You know, that was a lot more valuable.
So you did everything that you were supposed to do. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
And you learned so much other than the studies, other than the degree that you got.
Yeah.
And that degree has no value at the moment.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's so sad to think about is in my job, you don't need a degree.
Yeah.
Like, and it's when I got here and I was like so excited. I was like, my first like real career like role. And I got here and I was sat, I remember the intake for all the new starters sat around the table. I was the only one that had gone to university. The only one. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
Am I overqualified or something? Did you think that?
But it was just a bit like, that was a really expensive piece of paper, you know. But
that's all it is.
But I'm glad I did the whole experience and the uni thing and the people, my friends, and like I said, it's really about the overall package.
Yes.
It's not just
and you learn
work.
Life skills, like you said, right? People skills, speaking, how to interact,
of course,
doing a lot of things at the same time, organization, right?
Yeah, organization's a huge part, you know, and I think note taking and things like that. I mean, it really does pay off. Don't get me wrong, education is very important, and I'm a massive advocate of education. I think it's great that I have it under my belt, and I was on my way to become a lawyer. So the idea was to do my GDL, do a law conversion course. And, you know, I got into law school and I accepted for that as well.
Nice.
And it was just before I properly started that I turned around and I said, I'm like 22 years old. These are my best years. I have so much energy. I want to like see everyone run around. I want to do all of that now. And I feel like I'm going to be locked up in a room in an office for the next 10 years of my life shadowing someone that I just thought that's not it. So that's when I decided to come to Dubai.
Did you just wake up one day and think about that? Or was it like a gradual getting to that point?
I think it was something snapped one day because, you know, I was on my way to go to law school. Like I was on my way there and I got accepted. I got a scholarship. Like it was great. And I was excited. And then what happened was they brought in this guy, this gentleman, to sort of like, it was meant to be inspiring for us. And it was meant to be like, this is a really highly qualified, amazing lawyer, corporate lawyer from a magic circle firm, from Ellen and Overy, blah, blah, blah. He's coming in to talk to you guys. And he came in and I remember him leaving and I just thought, that's not what I want to do. Like, not that it wasn't relatable. It wasn't the fact that he was just boring or monotonous. That wasn't it. It was really like, I am not going to lose these best years just like working for someone like that or shadowing that person. Yeah. They just seem so sad, you know, and depressed, to be honest with you. And
I had the same experience. That's why I'm saying, like, that's why I flipped. I was going to be a doctor, right?
Right. You went to medical school for 6 years. School. Oh my God.
No, the thing is, 4 years in is when I realized.
Switch.
Because of the internship, started seeing what real doctors are doing in their daily life. Right. Exactly. But I was going there, like I was staying with them the whole day, shadowing them.
So you did go that far. You went all the way.
Yeah, up to so you do 4.5 years of theory and then 1.5 years of internship. And in the first month of internship, I was like, okay, maybe I have to do something else.
Crazy. That's a lot of years as well.
So it was kind of my fault. I should have done that kind of, but when you're 18, what do you know? Right?
You know what it is as well? It's like when you're 18, everyone that expects you to have your whole life together. Yeah. They expect you to know what you want to do at the age of 18.
Doesn't make sense.
And it's like, there's no way you can possibly know. Yeah. All these personal statements that you write, bullshit. All these like entry letters that you write and submit to these places to get, it's a load of nonsense. Yep. You just write this out because
formalities.
Right. It's a box check exercise. It's not because you really are a passionate wanting to become this doctor because you want to save lives and you care about people. No, you've become a doctor because you've been told that this is a good job. and
Exactly.
it pays well and your parents will be proud of you.
Yeah.
So that's really
It's repeating stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why you grow into being a person during university.
Mm-hmm.
You go through that whole scale of, relationships, people, getting drunk,
Right.
going out hungover and being like, okay, this is me.
Yeah.
This is the limit of my body.
Right.
Okay. Now let's see the limit of my brain.
Like juggling everything is hard. You
It's
know?
juggling everything is difficult. So I think because of that, you grow into an adult, really.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, now I have to sit down and actually, think about who I'm going to be in the future.
Right.
Do I really want to do this? And a lot of my, let's say, my colleagues or my classmates, right? They're still on this path, right? Even if they don't want to be.
Right.
They've kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say trapped themselves, but, they've kind of they are trapped within their own, they've created their own trap and now they're in it.
Right.
But I never wanted to be trapped. If I wanted to be a doctor, I would have become a doctor, but I didn't. So then I changed track.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you did, right?
That's what I mean. It's
So
taking
then-
the courage to do it.
So how did Dubai come out of it? That's the question.
Well, I knew I wanted to be overseas somewhere because I knew I was fed up with the UK. I mean, I was fed up at 5 years ago now. But it's just such a, I don't know, like especially London, lots of people all around the UK they travel to London and find a job in London, and for them that's them making it because wow, I've landed a job in London and this is the big city and all that stuff, and I just thought that's not big enough for me. Like I don't feel fulfilled there, and it's nothing bad or negative. It's just for me personally, I knew there was something out there that I wanted more, and I think that everyone can share that when they say they live in Dubai. All the expats that make this country, 88% of the country is expats. I think it's really interesting because we've all moved here for a reason. It's because we want more. Dubai came on really because I extended the search tab on Indeed and I extended it to worldwide. And I just sort of listed like all these jobs. And I remember seeing the real estate job came up and, obviously it's uncapped commission, role only, but it was really interesting. And I thought, you know what? It said in the job description, like this is the sort of job that what you put in is what you get out. And I thought that's me, because I used to work at different jobs. I worked since I was 15. First job was my voluntary work at the Bernardo's charity shop, worked at a Hobbs salon, down the road when I was 16 at £4 an hour. I worked at Waitrose for £7 an hour.
Is that legal?
Well, can you imagine? Back then, I think it was, you know what it was actually? I begged them to give me a job because I was actually only 15 at the time. And you have to be 16 to have a paid job. So I said to them like, I will work for £4.50 an hour. I will sweep the hair. I'll make the teas. I'll wash the hair. Just give me something. I need something. And they did. So, but what happened was, I think, sorry, I'm going a little bit off topic here.
No, it's fine.
But the reason why is because I just sort of like looked around and I was like, everyone's getting these corporate jobs, but I don't think they're really doing it because they want to do it. It was more like, this is the next step now after university. And I think that I kept seeing in the roles that I had done, we both get paid the set amount per hour, but only one of us was actually going above and beyond. But the person like next to me would do like the bare minimum and then
still earn the same.
Exactly. So
there's no bonus or what do you call it? There's nothing above what you can earn.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no potential.
No, not at all. And I was just a bit like, I work really hard. I have a great work ethic and I love going above and beyond. But I just want to be rewarded for that too. And I just felt like when I saw the job description saying what you put in is what you get out, I was like, yeah, this is me all over because I am willing to go the extra mile. I am willing to put in the extra hours and graft, 12, 15-hour days. I'm willing to do all of that. So I just want my pay to reflect my work. And the truth is, when you start out, you work bloody hard and you don't see very much to start with. And it's very difficult. But it was a process for sure. Dubai, I didn't know anyone. I hadn't been here before. It was very much just a risk,
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
Came out here and thought.
They usually tell agents, real estate agents, that save up 3 months
Yes.
worth. Did they tell you the same thing?
Yeah, I didn't save up.
You didn't.
I did not
You just
save
came
up.
here,
I
you're
just
like-
came.
You're like, I'm so good. I'll make money in there.
No, it wasn't even so good. I
How
was
was it
like-
starting out? Like that's the remember. Do you remember 5 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday because
Okay.
it was a lot of tears. It was really, really brutal. I mean, I didn't come up with all this money saved because I was a broke uni student. I didn't have any money. Like all the money I had was gone from my
Wow.
student loans and everything. So
Wow.
I didn't have any money, and I came out with literally like £500 to my name. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to make this work? And I was hopping Airbnbs for my first 5 days.
Wow.
And I didn't close my first deal for 6 weeks. And it's a rental deal, so it wasn't very much, 7,000 dirhams, but you split that with the company. So it's for 6 weeks, I earned 3,000 dirhams. And that really terrified me because I was like, I've got bills to pay. You have to pay for your own car. It's not like you get a company car.
No.
You've got to pay for your apartment. It's no free accommodation. You're not
Food,
like all of
everything.
this stuff,
It's a lot of expenses.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of expenses.
And the craziest thing is there's been moments I was super broke and I look back, obviously you could talk about it now because life is good, but back then it was hard.
Yeah.
And I remember like I'm showing these amazing homes to these incredible clients and I'm touring these beautiful homes, but I didn't have a dime to my name. Like I remember on my first week, I was showing around these homes for rent, but I didn't know where I was sleeping that night.
Wow.
I didn't know where I was going to
That's
stay that
insane.
night because all my stuff was in a suitcase in my car and I hadn't booked the next Airbnb yet because
Wow.
I didn't know where I was staying, So I remember coming back to the office, stressing out, said to my manager, like, I need to sort out an accommodation for myself. Like, I need to do this. And he just wasn't happy about it, He was just like, this should have been done. Because what happened was I'm very fussy and I couldn't do the flat sharing thing. So all the other new starters were flat sharing with these other strangers and I just couldn't do it. So that's why it took me a little bit longer. So when I turned up, I was like, sorry, I can't do this. I need to move out into my own like flat Airbnb.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it in like Marina or someplace like that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
I started off like that.
it was, I just get,
I know.
I'm just a bit funny with the whole flat sharing. Like, I'm not joking. It was around January time as well when like there was rain happening, like heavy rain, and none of the lifts were working. So I had to walk up, I think it was 40 flights of stairs
40?
to get to this flat. And then the guy opened this door and he was in his boxers with this like V, like vest top with a fat frying pan in his hand. And I was just like in the middle of cooking and he opened the door and he was like, oh, you here to check the room? And I was like, it's okay, actually, I changed my mind, thanks, bye. And I just ran out and I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do it, So that was stressful, really stressful. But I'm here to tell the tale, so.
Yeah. No, it is. I think
Yeah.
I think it's a story a lot of people can relate to, right? Obviously,
yeah.
they've gone through this themselves. But once you get over that hump,
Right,
I think then you start, building momentum.
right.
And then obviously it's all on you. Like you said, it's all on how you do the work. And
100%.
if you put in the work, if you put in the hours, then you'll get the reward, right?
Look, people ask me, like, did you ever think about quitting? I thought about quitting every single day. Don't get it wrong. Like, it was tough. And so many times people that know me really well, they will tell you themselves that I was looking at flights home on the weekly because I was like, I don't know if I can afford to be here another week. I have enough money for a plane ticket home and that's about it. And there were times I really questioned it, especially during COVID because I lived in Marina, but I was a downtown agent. So my office is in Marina, which is why I live there. But I was a downtown agent. And when you got a 30-minute window to go and get your groceries, I used that to go and do one viewing. And it was really tough because I was racing down Sheikh Zayed Road, running in, doing a viewing, running back and like being 10 minutes late, back into my apartment, So it's had its challenges. And I think it's important to talk about that because every time now you see on social media how glamorous real estate is. No one talks about the difficulty. No one talks about the blood, sweat and tears. No one talks about the sacrifices that you have to make as a realtor. Like you're sacrificing quality time with family and friends. I've missed so many things, weddings, birthdays, baby showers because of real estate. And there's lots of jobs that interfere with life, but I think real estate is a 7-day-a-week job. You don't switch off. You don't ever come home and, that's it. Like Dylan and I will have a romantic evening and we'll have this date night. And then I remember our 1 year anniversary, he took a boat out. We went out for sunset. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And then I get the phone call saying, yeah, we're ready to proceed. Can you do the contracts right now? Because the client's about to fly. So I'm literally there on the boat with my laptop pulled out and I'm just typing away. So yeah, it's important to highlight the drawbacks. It's important to talk about the difficulties and struggles. Because I think no one likes to talk about it for some reason.
I don't know why.
I don't have shame talking about being broke. I don't have shame to say to people, I had 10 dirhams to my name and I had enough. That was what I put in my car for petrol.
Wow.
Was 10 dirhams. I didn't have any other, that was it. And, I was eating rice crackers and things like that. It was crazy.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, when you go back to those times.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah. But you know what? You have to be a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Delusional.
Yes. Delusional.
I've always had.
I'm always delusional.
Yeah. But I think I'm a firm believer that you have to be, to a degree, you have to be a little bit reckless in believing in yourself. I think, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I think part of me deep down always knew that I was going to do big things. And I've known that and had that in me since a really young age, since I was a little girl, literally since I was the age of 5 or 6.
Amazing.
I was convinced that whatever I'm going to do a big thing. I'm going to go on, I'm going to be successful. There is no other option. And I think when you have that mindset, it's almost a little bit of, I don't want to say arrogance, but you have to be a little
I would
bit.
say it's belief in yourself. It's belief. It's like
Absolutely.
faith.
Yes.
Even higher than that.
Right.
Faith is, I would say, the strongest thing you can have. Religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. It's
just
religious. It's almost religious in its way.
Yes.
Because you have that much belief in yourself.
Right.
And it's something that never goes away, regardless of whatever happens around you. It never goes away. Right. Agreed. That's why you never give up. I think that's why you never give up.
Yes. And I think that you have to be a bit crazy to do it. You have to have this innate belief in yourself that, yes, I'm going to stay. Because I had so many people doubt me as well.
Really?
Oh, I had agents doubting me, wanting me to fail. Well, when I was a rental agent, this is a funny story. I was working in the Address Fountain Views in downtown and I was early for my appointment, so I was waiting in the lobby and this lady was sat there and I just got talking. I talk to anybody, you could put me on a bus and I'll talk to people, Okay. So I got chatting with her.
It's a great skill to have.
Yeah, no, it's again, people skills, talking skills.
Yeah.
We got talking and she's a lawyer, so I was like, oh, that's what I was supposed to do, this young female lawyer, great, lovely. And then I was like, oh, are you actually waiting for someone? She said, I'm waiting for an agent because they're late to show me this apartment, but they're running a bit late. And I said, oh, interesting. I said, I'm also an agent. I've just got moved here myself. And it's weird because most brokers lie about being new. And I was always sort of very upfront about it to clients. I was like, I've only been doing this 6 weeks, really enjoying it, blah, blah, blah. Let me show you around. And I said to her, do you want to see the apartment I've got for rent? Because I'm actually early for my viewing. And I think that if you're going to pay a broker, they should turn up on time, right? So she was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And then it turned out it was the same apartment that she was going to be viewing anyway with this other agent. So I showed it to her and she said, yeah, I'm ready to put forward a check. And by the time we came down and finished the viewing, the agent rocked up and he was like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, I'm actually moving forwards with the apartment and I'm moving forwards with this agent instead. Kicked off. This agent went on group chats with other agents in it to say watch out for this person. She's a shark. She just ripped me off and blah, 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 blah. And it's ultimately the client gets to choose who they want to represent them.
Yes.
If you can't even be bothered to show up on time, he wasn't just 5-10 minutes late, by the way. He was 35 minutes late.
Wow.
So it's about respect for other people's time as well. And it's you can't expect to get paid, surely, if you believe that 35-minute, late is just acceptable, because it's not. Especially because he didn't even message her to say this is how late I'm going to be.
Wow.
He just said, the key is at reception. You can head up. and start, and I can meet you afterwards, sort of thing. And I thought, that's so lazy. And I hear so many of these stories.
Really?
With clients saying to me, the agent said the keys are under the doormat, the keys there, the keys at the reception, security will let you in. Like, you've got one job. Show them around.
Yeah.
If you can't even do that, what are you doing here? You know, like, and the audacity to ask for commission is crazy. To ask get paid when you didn't even show up. My own apartment that I'm renting now in downtown Views, 160K. The agent didn't even show up to the viewing.
Really?
Still paid her an agency fee.
Wow.
She didn't even show up to the viewing. You know, so it's like, and that's like from a company that is quite notable out here. It's not like a, you know, a company no one's heard of. And it's interesting because
Why do you think that's happening? Is it?
It's laziness, but you know what? Like, it's this particular lady, I don't know why, but it's also, I think it's just bad habits. I think people think that it's acceptable, but look what happened in that situation. He left that client to go and do the viewing on her own because he was running late. And then he ended up losing her and lost her to me because I was a prompt agent, an early agent. I was engaging with her from the get-go in the lobby, showed her the apartment, and I got paid from it. Do I look back and regret that? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Absolutely yes, I would do that again. I have no regrets about that whatsoever because that's what a good broker does. You go above and beyond. You do what someone else didn't do. You dropped the ball, I picked it up because that's what I do. And I got this reputation in the market of like, oh, she's like, you can't work with her, you can't trust her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I don't care because you dropped the ball and I picked it up. So the problem is people started like going crazy with it, saying like, oh, she won't last in this industry.
Really?
Yeah, I got screenshots of this group chat sent to me. It's so funny. And someone said, I hope she gets hit by a car. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was almost like I had my own little fan club, which I quite liked. But it's funny because
Bad publicity is a good publicity.
Exactly. You can't, it's impossible to sort of evade the talks in the market. But I'm still here 5 years later, real estate show, my own company, my own firm, great guy next to me. So I'm not really losing.
It's the good life.
I don't lose sleep over it, you know, and I tell that story a lot. I used to tell it to all the new starters when I was a manager at my previous company. I used to tell it to all of them because I want them to realize that if you don't do the work, if you don't show up, someone else will. So like, always be on your toes, you know, be on your A game all the time. And it's one thing to say, look, I'm running late. I'm really sorry. Can we reschedule? You know, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. I've been in traffic, whatever it is.
Yes.
But it's like, it's another thing to sort of have that expectation, that entitlement. That's the issue I had was entitlement to, well, you owe me this. No one owes you anything. Nobody owes you a goddamn thing, right? It's a dog-eat-dog world, you know?
It is.
But I'm here to stay.
Very good.
Yeah.
You become the big dog, let's say, so to speak.
Yes.
What kind of dog would you be if you were?
Oh my goodness. See, I like to think that I'm this like Great Dane, but I'm 5'3", 43 kilograms, so it's not really the case. But
well, you're projecting that, let's say.
Yeah, it's all about presence.
It is. Well, that's insane. I mean, that's how you started out, and now look where you started your own company. That's a big move.
Huge.
When was this?
So we launched it in March officially.
Okay.
We resigned from our previous company in December. So we had the 3 months to set up the company and the business. Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure a lot of people will be inspired by that. And you know, my question to you, like, this is usually the question I think a lot of agents get asked, or this is something they have in their mind. Like, when should I start my own company? So what made you start your own company?
I think, honestly speaking, I've been at 4 companies, right? So I've been at the small ones, the boutique ones, the larger ones. I've been at Spas, I've been at Knight Frank, I've been at White & Co, I've been at Powerhouse. So I've been at all 4 of those. And I really took away the best bits from each of the company and tried to implement that with our business. But for me, it was really, Dylan and I did it together. And what happened was we kept realizing that all the things that we enjoy doing, just like networking and meeting people, and it sort of wasn't a good fit because all these companies care about is numbers and KPIs and CRMs being updated.
Yeah.
And it just became more like a box check exercise, to the point where notes on the CRM were no longer notes. It was just like, spoken to this client, you're just doing it to box check this exercise to move on. And it's just so that no one else can steal your business and your buyers and your sellers. And it just got, you know what, this is crazy, because I should be spending my time meeting people in person and landing business that way. But I'm spending so much time doing back office and admin stuff. And I just thought, you know what, it's time to have our own business. We really wanted to have a business so it's tailored to the customer experience. I don't believe in cold calling. You know, I don't believe in this approach. I think it's so invasive. It's a very harassing approach. I hate it. And we had call out sessions every week. We had, you know, it was constant, nonstop. Once your client closed a deal with you and bought a property from you, their details are now on that CRM. You can't delete it, right?
No.
So now every other agent, 300 agents, can now call that person repeatedly and harass them, try and sell them over to JVC, but they've bought a 3-bedroom in downtown. Makes no sense. And they don't like it. And I was like, I've worked so hard, 5 years of building up this amazing business. Like, my phone is the most valuable thing I have. That phone book I have is incredible. But it's like, I felt like it was beginning to get tainted because they're getting harassed by other people in my office that I didn't even know their names. You know, there were that many brokers now. And I think that, you know, the intake was just so many. It was like 50 people each month new into the office. Wow. And it's a revolving door. And I just thought, you know what? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to have a much smaller business with really experienced people that are here to stay. I don't want to have to learn 50 new names every month. You know, I don't want to. I just think that in terms of alignment and values, I think that quality over quantity is really where we stand with it. And it just made a lot more sense to go out on our own. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. That's insane. I mean, not insane. That's really, I think it's the right move that you made, you know, because you want to make sure that your clients are being, given value.
Yeah, and serviced properly.
Serviced properly.
Because people forget we are a service provider. As brokers, there's nothing shy of it. We provide a service. We broker the deal. We middle broker this deal between the buyer and seller and do the negotiations. We get paid for a service, right? And it was when I started trying to land business in the luxury world, in the luxury division, that I no longer said it with pride, the company I was working with, because it was almost like if I said it, it almost hindered me because they'd be like, oh, I don't know if we want to go ahead with you with that company because we don't want it on Property Finder. We don't want this like mega mansion listed in that way. You know, I know people from your business. I haven't had a great experience, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought I want to be able to say I work at this business that I've created and say it with pride. So that's really important to me. So people buy from people at the end of the day.
Yes.
And it's all the people's business. Like all my clients, you could call them up right now. They probably wouldn't even know that I've got my own business now. You know, they don't care about which company you're at. But like when I moved companies, they didn't know I moved from Knight Frank to White & Co, for example. They're loyal to me, not the company. So it's like I can leave, but all my clients come with me, right? Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. And that's why I hate the approach that companies have with sign this agreement that you won't contact buyers and sellers. It's like, what? So when they contact me, I'm supposed to be like, sorry, I've worked for you for 5 years, but now I'm not allowed to speak to you. It's just awful, you know?
I think agencies should start considering this, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Because agents are service providers and they have their own network of clients that deal with them, not the company.
Yeah.
Right? The company is there to provide you with the tools to execute paperwork and let's say listings, and that's good. They are needed. I mean, I'm sure with your new company, you're offering some kind of the same kind of services.
Right.
So the company is good. It's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
But there has to be some kind of barrier, some kind of, let's say, your clientele or your clientele.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, you're working for them. Right? The company is working for them.
Right. So, you should always consider your brokers as partners of the business because they're the ones bringing you business, right? So with that split, it's because you're providing the tools, but they've gone and landed and closed that business. So I think that managers, directors, CEOs, you should always be supportive of your brokers. Yeah. I think if they've come to you highlighting concerns, then you should hear them out because ultimately that's how it should be ran, I think, you know, is valuing each individual and not taking them for granted. And I think you know, lots of brokers will have days where they don't feel valued, where they'll feel more like a number, or they'll feel very replaceable. And I just would rather cultivate a much smaller team, but where every person feels valued and respected. And yeah, I just think it's nothing, there's no bad like animosity or anything with any of my previous companies. Like, I love still hanging out with some of my old managers. You know, John Lyons is a prime example of someone that came to my show, my premiere for my TV show. He showed up. You know, he was the only manager actually that showed up, and he was my manager from 3 years ago. You know, so it's really to do with just a different business model. I'd rather have a boutique approach than a business model with hundreds of people fighting over the CRM, you know?
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this model works.
Yes. It has been.
And it has been working since
it's been
March.
going
You've been
great,
doing, okay, very good, very good. And how big is your team right now?
So it's Dylan, myself, and then we have 2 people joining at the end of this year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's good. That's great. And now I forgot to mention a big thing.
Yes.
Because before you started your company, I think you were part of a big show, obviously.
Yes.
Million Dollar Listing Dubai, which kind of flew by,
yes.
right?
Oh my goodness.
And I wanted to get an insight of how it was. Obviously, I think you've spoken about this before on how you got into the show. We won't go through that. I want to know your experience and your takeaway from doing the show.
Right. So obviously my first time filming like on anything. So it was very surreal because it's not scripted. So you literally rock up and it's like, okay, cameras are rolling, so as you work sort of thing. And you're just like, oh my God, it's so weird because I'm having this conversation, but 20 people are actually watching this conversation happen. You know, it's so weird. Biggest takeaways really, I learned so much about Abu Dhabi as an emirate and their real estate market. I didn't really have that exposure before. So that was probably the biggest takeaways. I got to really learn and understand the different neighborhoods and just sort of Al Dar and the appreciation for Al Dar as a master developer. Like what they've built is phenomenal.
Really? Okay.
Just such a leading master developer. I think they're totally exemplary of what developers should be doing and how they plan so far ahead. You know, they don't just build one building, they build the entire of Yas Island is owned by them, right? So they go out of their way to plan every single inch of that island. So it's perfectly done. So there's no high rises when you go there. That's for a reason. They didn't want any skyscrapers to block views. They wanted everything to almost be the same similar, low rise buildings, all these structures in place. And I think it's so clever. So that was a big takeaway, is really the lesson, the education that I got from that side. Aldar, just as a developer, and the connections I leveraged from that was phenomenal. In terms of personal side, obviously, some people when they film, they might feel like they're trying to be someone they're not, or they might feel like they have to be this amazing version. Whereas I sort of went into it and I was like, I'm just going to be myself, because the reality is not everyone's going to like you. Okay. That's just life. So you may as well be yourself. Just polarize your audience. There'll be people that hate you and people that love you. And the thing is, I'm not here to please people. I never have been. That's the only trait I would say I respect about myself, in the sense that I've never been here to be collecting, popularity. I've never cared for it. So it's like, I'm just going to be my true self, and however that's received is how it goes. And fortunately, it's been received really well. I mean, loads of lovely comments. I get messages literally almost every day I'll get a message from somebody. And now it started rolling out to the UK and to America and Canada. And I get messages from all over, literally all over the world now. And it's such a warm, fuzzy thing to read in the mornings when you wake up and you're like, wow, someone in Canada watched this show, took their time to message me and say, hey, you're an amazing role model. You're so inspirational. I really admire you and respect you. I think that's just such an amazing thing, because it's not like I'm famous or anything, but it's just rewarding, that someone out there is inspired by you. I think that's such a huge compliment. And I just think, little old me over here is how motivated someone millions, like hundreds of miles away. You know, that's great. Like,
no, you deserve
so
it
great.
though.
Yeah.
You deserve it, because
Thank
if you
you.
hadn't put that work in, if you hadn't taken that opportunity, you obviously you wouldn't get that,
Yeah.
right? But now you've done all that and you received. So you
Yeah.
gave first and then you received, right?
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
how
I
it
think a big
goes.
lesson in life that
Yeah.
we learn. You have to give to receive.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
just take.
I know.
Take.
That's what I mean.
Right?
What goes around comes around. I'm a firm
Yeah.
believer in that. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I mean, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Million Dollar Listing, but
Yes.
I don't think we have a lot of time yet
Okay.
left. So I want to talk more about the future, because now I can see you're a person with goals and vision,
Yes.
right? I want to know what your vision is, because I'm really curious.
So, this is just the start, really. Like, there's so much more I want to accomplish. I've got a few businesses I want to launch as well. So that's in the works. So really the goal is to build an empire with Dylan. I mean, that's our goal, is to build this empire together. And when I say this empire, I mean, we don't want to just have this real estate company. We want to get into development. We want to have buildings with our names on it. We want to have, you know, a killer team that is conquering so much. And, you know, we want to roll out different departments of our business as well. So we have a lot. I can't reveal too much.
No, it's fine.
But
It's fine.
we have a lot.
I can tell their
happening.
vision is big.
Yes.
And you want to accomplish it. How much time do you think it'll take you? Do you have any time limit that you set yourself?
I think that the next two businesses will be within the next 2 years. And then I think, you know, I want to be on the property ladder. I bought my first property recently. So that
Amazing.
was really
Congratulations.
exciting. Thank you very much.
Do you want to tell us what it is? Not
It's- no,
the
I can.
building. Okay,
I
tell us.
can.
Tell us.
So I recently purchased in Ashton Park 2 in JVC. So that launched, it was a pre-launch. So
I sold the plot for that.
no way. You
Yeah.
sold the plot?
Yeah, to Mirfa. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, thank you for doing that, because I wouldn't have my property
It's all
today.
because of me. I swear.
That's
That was a
crazy.
hard deal too.
Really?
That was a difficult
That's a great plot though. Really
amazing.
great location.
Huge plot.
Yeah, huge.
It was one of the biggest G+4 plots in JVC.
Yeah. So that was incredible. Great purchase there. So I purchased a studio there. Really looking forward to that one.
Great payment plan.
3 years post handover. Are you kidding
Those
me?
guys are insane.
So good. I literally looked at them. I was like, what's the catch? You know, it's so good. And then the problem is, one of my clients, she bought quite a few. And then afterwards, it was her first like purchases. So she bought like 4 units. And then afterwards, she was like, damn, I was really spoiled there, because nowhere else is offering any of these payment plans. And I was like, I know. We grabbed the best opportunities there.
Yes.
But I'm buying, the next one I'm buying is in Ras Al Khaimah. So that should be before the end of the year.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I'm going to
All
have a
the
little
best.
Airbnb over there.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Good.
Really
That's
exciting.
great.
Yeah.
Ashton Park too. That's a good purchase.
Yeah.
Very good purchase.
Yeah. So I think, you know, Dylan and I, we want to build our property portfolio. We want to flip. He's actually partnered up with Smart crowdfunding company.
Okay.
And they're doing flips as well, which is really exciting.
Really? So
yeah.
how do you know how that works?
So it's a new thing, but basically they have a small pool of investors, like they're VIP investors, and they come together with their money, pool it together, SPV, they buy it under an SPV company. So
And then they flip.
They flip the property, and then everyone takes the profit of the shares. And it's a really good model, because you'll have buyers that have like 1 million or 2 million dirhams, but you can't really get that much profit really.
True.
When you're spending that kind of money. But if you pull it together and then look at a villa for like 15 mil, and you can flip it for 20, 25 mil, then the profit margins make a lot more sense. So it's much better that way. So it's going really, really well, and he's smashing it. I'm so proud of him. He's
Amazing.
done, yes.
I want to know more about that now.
Yeah. I'll have to bring him on.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes, please. Next time, maybe.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for telling me about your vision. I have a little segment that I'm
Yes.
trying out. By the way, you're the guinea pig,
Oh God.
so I hope you don't mind.
No, of course not. Of course.
It's a sort of a rapid fire round.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh.
Where not really rapid fire, but I would expect like an answer within like one sentence. Let's
Okay.
say. Let's
Got it.
try to do that. Let's try to hit that mark. Okay, so I'll ask you a few questions. You just give me the straight answer.
Okay.
All right. So, Zay, how do you start your day? That rhymed. So.
I know. Did you intend
No,
that?
I didn't do it. It was just the first question.
So 6 a.m. I get up and I do my Barry's workout class. Or sometimes
What is that?
It's like a boot camp workout class.
Okay.
So I go to Barry's in the morning, or if I'm not doing that, then I'll go wake surfing, or if I'm not doing that, I'll do horse riding. So I'll do an activity.
In the morning?
In the morning.
6 a.m.?
6 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wake surfing is great, by the way.
I've never done
work.
that. Never done
so
that.
So good.
Never done
Yeah.
that. I want to go to the gym in the morning. It's tough enough to do that. Maybe I have to do one of these activities.
This really wakes you up. Like it's
Okay.
great. Sorry, that wasn't even quick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's okay. What's your favorite food?
I'm a pasta person. So seafood, pasta, linguine, prawn risotto, that kind of thing.
Amazing. Tell me, is it hard work or is it luck? What do you believe in?
Hard work.
Hard
I
work.
always say, like my dad used to say, the harder you work, the luckier you get. So it's all about hard work. You look at anybody out there, it's not luck. They worked hard to get to that point. Even
For sure.
like Steph Curry works hard to be a top basketball player. It's all about working hard.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Definitely.
I'm really bad at this.
No. It's okay. I think I know the answer to this, but do you manifest?
Yes.
You do?
Massively. I manifest in the mirror in the mornings. Dylan and I do it all the time, and we just keep talking things into the universe, and I'm a firm believer in that too. One of my clients, she's so lovely, and we talk about this, and she's achieved so many goals herself, and manifestation is important. When you think about it, when you see it, when you speak it out loud, it has such a power in the way you conduct yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, your frame. Like, it's such an undervalued trait to have. You should everyone should be doing it.
It's almost scary.
Yeah.
How well it works.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
My fiance also introduced me to this.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
last
amazing.
year.
Yeah.
And it's worked out. Like everything that I've spoken, it's coming. Like it's happening by itself.
It's like your body, you trick your mind, you trick your body into almost like this is how it is now. Like I listened to a podcast and someone said, if you want to write down on a piece of paper the person you want to be in 10 years and write down, what does she look like? What does she dress? How does she walk? How does she carry herself? How does she talk? How does she engage with people? Write all of these things down and then start doing it. It's like, you want to be that person who is a rock star. Implement that today. What's stopping you from behaving in that way,
Yeah, that's a great answer though. And how would you let's say advise somebody to start? How would they start manifesting?
Start manifesting?
Yeah. How do you
I mean, I always do it in the mirror. So I'm in the mornings when I'm getting ready. I think it's a great time because it's before your day started. I just look in the mirror and I just say, like, I can do this. I will do this. They're the only two things you really need to say to yourself. But you need to be kind to yourself. People need to realize that if you're kind to yourself, it's almost like you have faith in yourself, but it's almost like your brain functions. You will conduct your business, your affairs in such a better way. So just look in the mirror and just say to yourself, like, I can do this and I will do this. Like, I'm the best version of myself. I'm going to do great things today. I'm going to make myself proud. I already have made myself proud. I've been through so many bad things in my life and I'm here today and I'm still standing.
Yeah.
So just be kind to yourself and remind yourself that there's ups and downs and it's all part of the process,
That's great. That's a great saying. I have to take that away now for myself. Thank you. Who is your biggest support? I think I know.
Everyone, it's crazy, like how much that guy supports me.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal. Every single interview I had after the filming Million Dollar Listing, that guy showed up. He was there by my side all the time. I went on the radio show. He was there. Like, I went on interviews and TV ads, all these things. He showed up. He is my biggest support. Like, genuinely, I've never, ever met anyone like him. So
Amazing.
I'm very, very lucky.
Really happy for you.
Very lucky
that you
girl.
found. Very lucky. Yes. Yes.
Just,
yes.
I just found my person.
I won't ask this one. But this one, your most important life lesson. Do you have something?
Yes,
You
I
would say?
think really it's just about time. Just don't waste time. And I mean that in every sense of that. I mean, not just in work, in your personal life. Don't waste time with the wrong people. Don't waste time being friends with people that aren't your friends. Don't waste time like in a relationship when you're not happy. Like, stop wasting time. Time is the only thing we run out of. It's a finite thing. It's guaranteed finite. Like, live life. Do what makes you happy. Try new things. Try, like, push yourself out of your comfort zone. that's what my biggest like life lesson is just don't waste time. If you want to start that business, start it today. You're going to fail. Who cares? Fail 5 times. Who cares? It means you're closer to the actual success.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, is people are too worried about stepping outside of the comfort zone, starting that business, starting that thing, starting the podcast, starting the YouTube channel, because they're so scared of failing.
Yes.
And it's like, just start.
True.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who actually cares? Like, I'm scared of trying like social media. My first video, no one's going to like it. There's going to be like 2 likes. It's going to be embarrassing. Who cares? Who cares about the opinions of other people? Just do it for you. You know, like when I started wake surfing, I wasn't great. I can't swim, but I did it and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know,
I was wondering, like, how do you do it if you don't know how to swim?
I know. It's a crazy thing.
Is that a hazard or something?
Have you ever, like, I cannot tell you what it feels like being in the middle of the ocean when the boat has left and you've fallen into the water. You've literally drank and swallowed all this ocean water and you've got these big waves around you and you're just floating in the middle of the ocean. Like,
wow.
Yeah, that's a scary one. But
do you do it for the thrill?
yes, I love it. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm an outdoorsy, I'm an active person.
Amazing, amazing. So I think we'll end on a high note.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much, Zay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I think I learned a lot from you, and I'm sure everybody watching will as well.
Thank you.
Zay, one more thing. I wanted to ask you, how can people reach you if they want to?
Well, you can always message me on Instagram. That's always a good way. There's an email as well. So you can always email. I'll drop it in my Instagram bio.
We'll put your Instagram bio in the caption.
Yeah, perfect.
And all the best for your new company.
Thank you
I
so
hope you
much.
do really well. And I'd love to meet Dylan as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll discuss
great.
more real estate investments, I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been really great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.